one of those things. How do I get around this one? There we go. Run! I think anybody who's ever gone no contact with their parents can understand. Like, watching what just happened with Jolene in this game, I can totally sympathize. Like, put up with shit for so long, everybody's got a breaking point. She's like, you know what? You threatened me with that gator my whole life. Time for you to feel the bite. Oh, I fell down and died. Yeah, no contact is the only thing you can do for situations like that. Like, you can't. There is no reason with people who are so far down that religious rabbit hole, political rabbit hole. You just gotta. The way I view it is, I don't harbor any rancor. I don't know how to get over that one. I just accept that they're flawed human beings and they're never going to change. And knowing that they're never going to change, I have no desire to participate in their version of reality. So I live far, far away and have next to no contact. It's like, it's one of those things where I don't bear them any ill will. I did for a long time. I don't know how I'm getting over that one. I was angry for a long time in my 20s. And even in my early 30s when my brother committed suicide, I was definitely very angry at the way they had treated him. And you know, but you just sort of accept that everybody is flawed, even you. How fucking getting past that one? I feel like I'm missing something over there. Oh, I'm using my glide. I think just the timing is off. There we go. Just the timing was off on my jump after the glide. Oh no! I fucked that way up. I just need to fall off and die. I got caught on the vine there running past. Oh, it made me go all the way back here. Oh, shit. Alright.
Should head towards Pig Factory. They said the trailer might have got caught in the riverbed.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of people on Twitter were saying they were having problems with Chapter 6 in this game, or I think it was Chapter 6, because of abandonment stuff. So I recognize that this game has a lot of traumatic themes for people, which I think is very interesting when you have a game that's not willing to shy away from telling powerful stories that are rooted in themes of like the patriarchal story with patriarchal. I don't even know how to pronounce that word. The story of Jolene and her father is very traumatic because it even like it triggered me. It for sure triggered me because I know what it's like to have a father figure who's like, I'm the patriarch, you'll do what I say. And I come at that from a male perspective because I can't imagine, what my sister went through when she was younger because, growing up in an ultra religious household with a patriarchal father figure who's demanding that you do things a certain way and telling you that you need to be subservient to men because you're a woman and your job is to shut up and do what the man says. Like I feel sorry for my mom more than anything else because, obviously they have a every relationship is going to have its complications, right? Every married couple, anybody who's been together for a long periods of time know that you're going to have your own series of complications, and for better or for worse, part of being an adult is, figuring a way past those struggles together. But I can also appreciate that there is a twisted, fucked up power control dynamic in religious households where it's all about, um, I am your owner. I am your boss. I am your master. Why? Because I have a dick. That's why. God said it, and I have a dick. So therefore, I am going to beat you over the head with this big stick that I have that says, God said so. And that is messed up. That is messed up. So yeah, the Jolene storyline is hitting it with me big time. For sure. And I'm not, it's just because I've witnessed that and dealt with it on my own perspective a little bit. Chat says, so there's one time I had a sheriff knock on my door who said, and my father died. I said, that's it. Nothing about me. No need to be sorry. Yeah. So the interesting thing, this is a side note, not to get too sidetracked, but like my parents, my dad tried to reel me in. This has been probably 10 years ago now because he was starting to put together his will and everything. And this is part of the reason why my brother and him fell out because of just things that were promised to my young brother because of the ranch and other stuff. And I literally told my dad I could give two shits about. He's obsessed with his legacy, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care how much money, I don't care how many millions of dollars that you have. And he was trying really hard when I was in June. He can't fathom what I do for a living, because I'm not interested in money, and I never have been. So his whole thing is, you sit there and play video games. And he's always hated video games because they're the devil's workshop, And the fact that I play video games for a living drives him nuts. The fact that I developed video games for a living also pissed him off because when I was growing up, video games were evil and they would lock the Nintendo controllers in the gun safe and we were only allowed to play Mario Brothers on like Saturday mornings. And so it drives him nuts that I play games for a living and have developed them. But his whole thing is he can't fathom why I'm willing to sit and play video games and only make. You're only making what? That's pennies. And it's like, dude, I get to wake up and do what I love for a living. It doesn't matter. The money is not. It's never been an important factor for me. Like, as long as the bills are paid, I could care less. And he can't wrap his head around it. Because it's a you gotta be making money. Where did that take? These things suck. They keep moving. Yeah, this game definitely has some dark themes. Definitely has some dark themes in this game. Oh, oh. Oh, that's just one of the heal things. I don't need that.
No!
So I know that later on in this game, like I said, I'm not going to resonate with the abandonment stuff so much, but I definitely resonated with this storyline right here, as is noted by the tangent we just went off on. It's everybody's got different traumas in life, and sometimes it's not as easy as one might think to get past it.
That door needs power. Ugh. God.
Yeah, that's why I loved like I know some people didn't like The Last of Us 2 compared to The Last of Us 1, and this is where I go back to I understand that some people aren't going to enjoy The Last of Us 2 as much as Last of Us 1 because of the themes of that game and the heaviness of the themes. But what I don't think a lot of people realize is they need to go look at Neil's background and where he came from and what he went through as a child and why he felt that that was an important story to tell. Because his background as a child and the horrors that he suffered directly impacted why he wanted to tell that tale. And it just, for some people, it hits on such a different level because of how impactful the feeling of loss is and the horrors that human beings will do to each other. And that's why I will always tell people, like, you get so many people who get upset about video games, right? And the grifters in particular who will make some, they want to get up in arms about game developers and everything. So I'm like, you really should be, if you want to be upset about something, be upset about the human tragedies that happen.
That is
Be upset about war. Go protest things that
so
matter.
Bad, I can taste it.
You're protesting a video game company putting a black woman or a black man in a video game when in reality you should be protesting why your governments are sending people around the world to kill other people for guns and money. Got it? That lawyers, guns, and money. Bow. Shit has hit the fan.
Alright, you're up, Crouton.
Go, Crouton, go! I don't know where you're going yet. Probably not to deal with that. There might be something in here. Okay, he got sent in here for something. No. What am I missing in here? That's it. Oh, Joel was not a nice guy. Joel did some seriously messed up stuff. But I think that's also part of like the journey is recognizing that Joel was not a perfect human being and he was making up for past mistakes
I'm gonna be sick.
with Ellie.
Don't throw up. Don't throw up. There's the tangle.
It's one of the things I really appreciated that they expanded upon in this show is they're really showing how Joel and his brother were not nice guys and did some really horrific shit because they had to survive.
After Jolene let Tom go loose, he discovered the pig farm. How had Swoops kept this miraculous place secret from him? Tom ate everything he could clamp his jaws on. He didn't care if it's a pig or a washing machine. If you go hungry when you're young, you never trust the next meal. You'll eat even if you're full, just in case. Tom never felt like he'd ever have enough.
Hurt people, hurt people.
Ooh.
That's what Mama says.
That's a great phrase. Hurt people, hurt people. Wow. That's... wow. Love it. Yeah, this goes back to what I was talking about earlier, like recognizing that people are flawed. And like that's one of the reasons I just moved on, because my grandfather treated my dad like absolute shit. He treated my uncles like shit. I remember one time I was working on a job site with my dad and my grandpa at the same time, and I deserved to be punished, but not in the way that it went down. So we were working. It was my dad's birthday, and we were working on his birthday, and we were not having a good day together. He and I were not having a good day together, and we were working on site with my grandpa, who's my dad's dad. And I was down on the floor. We used to do ceramic tile and natural stone. I was a third generation contractor. So I'm down on the floor grouting. If you don't know what it is, it doesn't matter. I'm doing flooring stuff. I'm grouting the floor, and my dad's over there. He and I are having a back and forth. And I don't remember exactly what was said. When this happened, I wasn't living it. I got kicked out when I was like 15 and a half, 16. I was probably 19 when this went down. 18 or 19. And I'm working. And my dad's saying something. We're back and forth arguing with each other. And I don't remember exactly what was said, but it was something along the lines of, "You need to just go home because you're acting like you've got your period." Something along those lines. Just shut up. You're acting like a bitch on your period. Something along those lines. And I deserved to, but we were in the throes of a heated argument, and some things were being said as things happened. There was no warning. I say that to my dad, and the next thing I know, I'm flying across the room, and I'm leaned up against the wall, crumpled up, and all I see is like all I caught was a boot, and my grandpa is leaning over me. "Don't you ever fucking talk to your father that way again, or I'll knock you 6 ways from Sunday." But he had literally, I said whatever I said to my dad, and he just, boom, boot to the face. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. He was an old Marine, and he believed in spare the rod, spoil the child. And he just full on boot to the face. Like, I'm 18, 19 years old, right? And there was no, "Don't talk to your dad that way." It was boot to the face, kick me across the room, and I'm laying there half concussed with like a boot imprint on my face. What just happened? And he's standing over me, "Don't you ever talk to your fucking father that way." And it was just like, that was what I grew up with, And so my dad learned that from his dad, who learned it from his dad. So my brother and I, the brother who I work with a lot and I've done video game development with, and who has the cattle ranch of his own, and he's a good kid. He's 32 now. He and I have a great relationship. He and I have talked a lot about something that's called generational curse. generational curses. And so he and I have tried very hard to separate ourselves from that family because they have a generational curse. They have something that has been twisting them up insides for decades, for generations, and it just keeps perpetuating. My cousins, I'm no contact with my cousins because they're all sons of my dad's brothers, and they are all fucked up. They are all messed up people that have like my one of my cousins had an issue with him and his wife were having an issue, and there's all sorts of alcohol and drugs in that family and everything else, and he like put his wife in a mental institution for like 6 months because she wouldn't do what he said, and then took her out and was like, well, I love you, honey, hope you're better now, let's get back together. And like, there was no, I'm going to help you work through whatever trauma you have. I'm going to stick you in a mental institution and load you full of pills and then tell you that God loves you and I love you. And just, I got a great nephew who's like no contact with my niece because she's gone through like 6 different men in her life, and it's all this trauma that just trickles down, and at some point you just gotta separate yourself from that shit. It's vicious circles of trauma. Yeah, man. I'm loving this game for that reason. It's like it's bringing all sorts of fun stuff out from all sorts of corners of the world, and I'm really happy that there are game developers out there that are willing to touch on these subjects, because not everything is peaches and cream. My wife went mostly no contact with her family for quite a few years as well because of a certain family member, and when that certain family member was no longer around, she was willing to, reach back out with the rest of them. I think that's one of the nice things about the modern generation is you can actually go no contact, whereas if you grew up even 30 years ago, it was really hard to get away from that stuff because you were stuck in this, there wasn't the internet. We didn't have the power of information to learn about trauma, to figure out that we could escape these vicious cycles. Like if you grew up even 30 years ago, and there are still people who feel that way today, who feel trapped in their environment, but the internet has allowed, especially with this and, whether it's social media, social media for all its bad things, there's also a lot of good that can come out of social media. There are support groups that people have because of the power of social media, finding other people on TikTok or Instagram who have a similar story to what you have, and it helps you get through it. How did they deal with their trauma? There are a lot of powerful things that come out as a result of the internet and social media, even for all the bad that comes around as a result of it too. Like, the important thing is recognizing that there are a lot of good things that come out of internets, social medias, and all that good stuff. I don't know where I'm supposed to chuck this. Oh, probably right up there. I bet. That's probably true, Dribrum, too. Yeah, psychology's just 100 years old at this point. We've learned a lot even just for the last 50 years. Trauma's a tricky thing, man. I'm really glad to see a game like this touching on those subjects, though, because it's a lot of stuff that gets ignored. So I have got to take a bio. I'll be right back, guys.